Let's talk about hating ass bitch. What's up, my beautiful and amazing and precious glamazons? How are y'all? Let's tap in real quick, see how you guys are doing. I hope you guys are doing as okay as you can, because the world is crazy. But I am here to provide you with a little bit of entertainment slash let's get your mind off of it, okay? Now, as per usual, I want you guys to learn something, and today we're gonna learn about hating ass. Okay? No, for real though, because this is a part of life that's just inevitable, and I want to teach you how to deal with it. The reason why I'm telling y'all this story is because I didn't really deal with it the best in for real's life. I did not deal with it well. So I'm going to tell y'all how I would deal with it now, but this is how I dealt with it then. So grab your wine, snacks, everything you need. And we're going to start at the very beginning, okay? The core of the spirit and the soul. Let's talk about it. When I was a kid, my grandma used to always repeat this to me. Mija, pray for discernment. Discernment. And if you don't know what that means, it means like being able to see an obscure concept without seeing the full view of it, like knowing what's happening without seeing what's happening in front of your face. Does that make sense? Like discernment is like that. Some people feel like it's like a spiritual thing where like it like that little voice in the back of your head that's telling you this is what's really going on, and they're running you around and they're giving you the okey doke. That is discernment. You want that so bad, because discernment, girl, will save you in so many situations in your life, and at the very least stop you from being made a fool of. Okay, we're all energy. Okay, all of us are energy. We give off energy. That's why like the vibes exist. It's good energy, bad energy, man energy, like high energy, low energy, hectic energy, all kinds of energy, but energy nonetheless. Who you surround yourself with, my love, is so important, because people's energies that counteract yours can affect you. Now, this is specifically going to be in reference to girl world, okay? And this has been a term that's been going around for a while now, a girl's girl. She's not a girl's girl. When everything was happening with Ariana Grande and like her side piece or whatever, I mean, whatever the situation, everybody was like, oh my God, she's not a girl's girl. Why? Because he had a whole wife and a child, and oh my God, she's not a girl's girl. And I saw so many girls preaching about that. And I love that. I love the concept of it, but can we be so for real right now? Can we be so for real right now for just a second? I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of faces, and I'm telling you that more oftentimes than not, I have seen girls betray girls so many times. It seems to be the go-to, not even like the last resort, not even like, oh, I'm mad at her. It's just like, it almost seems like second nature. I have seen best friends betray each other. I've seen sisters betray each other. That's why I had all kinds of trust issues, because I used to be there as an obscure fly on the wall, okay, for a while there. And like nobody like really paid attention to me, because I was always fucking new and I was in and out and like peace out, you know what I mean? But I seen it in so many different places. And so I really felt like a lot of the girls that were preaching this whole girl's girl mentality were like kind of hypocrites. I ain't even gonna lie. There are just some instances, and you need to know this now. Not everybody, and I don't care how many people try to preach it, I've seen it. And there is like a pretty big percentage of girls that claim to be girls, but they're not girls. Like on the inside, they're not girls. They are envious, jealous ass. Typically, it's coming from a place of hurt. It's coming from a place of pain, insecurity. You know, there's like some sort of background dynamic that has something to do with why they are the way that they are. Jealousy and envy are among the top things that they feel when they see somebody that makes them feel unilaterally, might I add, not because anything has been said to them, not because you're mean to them, just the very presence of you when you are sure of yourself and you're confident and you have really good energy. This person can and will look at you and be like, I don't like her, number one. And number two, I'm going to do everything to destroy her and everything that she has. I want what she has. And this is where this mentality, it's really crazy. It's crazy. Not only do I hate her, I want to be her. Girl, please listen to me, mama, please, because it is actually an epidemic. Women in our past and our ancestors have tried to block the hateration in the nation, okay? Like we've had to come up with talismans, crystals, the evil eye, like, you know, placing things on your children like they don't hate, you know, on your kids and make them sick. Like it's a real thing, okay? So I need y'all to be like this. Rewind back in time, okay? And I had this friend, and she was always doing charity work, and she was like, oh my God, I just loved her. I actually met her through a friend of a friend, and you remember that my friend that always did like the fashion shows and stuff. Okay, well, I met this girl through the fashion shows, okay? And she was like 2 or 3 years older than me, and we're gonna name her Alyssa. And so anyways, I got to know Alyssa, and I was really inspired by her because she was involved in a lot, working at the food banks and, you know, helping out the homeless. She would ask us at these fashion shows, like, hey, do you guys have like older clothes or heels? You know, when you come in tomorrow, can y'all bring them if like y'all have stuff that y'all aren't using? Because I'm gonna, you know, make a trip to the women's shelter, like stuff like that, okay? She was extremely involved in the Latino community as well. And I was like, oh my God, like I really wanted to like get involved in the Latino community here in Denver. And there was some sort of like business owners, Latino business owners in Denver, and they were all having like this event, right? And so she ended up texting me one day, and she was like, hey girl, you know, because I've been asking her about what she was doing and stuff, and she was like, I have this event coming up, I would love it if you could make it, you know? And it was on a weekday, kind of like a happy hour situation. So I was like, oh my God, yes, right? So I get off of work and I go meet her, and it was like right down the street from my job at the time. It was in like this speakeasy looking bar, and they had tables set up. So I end up going to this table with Alyssa, and she knows these two other women, and they are her friends. They have worked with her in the past, and like they were here because of her as well as her guests. I had never met these two women before, but you know what? That's okay, because I love meeting new people. And they have like these booths off to the side, and these two women are already sitting together, like right next to each other, and they're like, oh, hey. The minute that I slid into that booth, Alyssa slid in first, and then I'm, you know, next, and I'm facing this girl. I don't know, like the entire vibe at the table shifted. We do our introductions and our greetings and everything. The girl that was right in front of me, she was very nice. She was very kind, and you know, she was just very, very nice. The girl next to her though, there's a specific look, and they all have it the same. They think that they're slick, but they're not. If you know, you know, but I'm going to tell you, it's in their eyes. So when they look at you, and while you're speaking, when they feel like that you're not paying attention to them, it's like this look of disdain. This girl in front of me is asking me questions. We're having a conversation, okay? I'm not just taking over the whole thing, okay? I'm not that type of person. I know how to converse well, thank you very much. Pretend you're me, okay? And you're talking, okay? And like this was how she was looking at me. Do you get the vibes? Do you get the vibe? Okay. She's not saying nothing. She's not being directly, blatantly mean. Discernment. Okay. Discernment. So I peep this. I ignore it. I don't pay any mind to it. I got used to having this like perception of me being like the main thing when people would meet me for the first time in person, that I just seemed so confident and I just seemed so sure of myself and this and that. But it really was just a skill that I picked up from being new all the time, and I had to get over being shy. And so it's something that I excelled at because I had to learn the skill. Don't misunderstand, because your girl has insecurities too. A lot of times when I meet new people and I get to know them a little more, they'll tell me that, and they'll be like, oh my God, like, you know, I was kind of afraid to talk to you, or this and that, because like I thought you were this person, and I thought like you just seemed so confident. And then they get to know me. We're home skillet biscuits for life. That's just how it works. This situation, you are not the first homegirl. So like, guess what? Now I'm gonna try to be your friend. Now I'm gonna kill you with kindness, because like I just want you to know who I really is. So that's the tactic that I always use, and this was no different. So as the evening progressed, we ended up getting up and mingling, and they have like these tabletops, and they have a raffle going on. Hispanic lawyers and like, you know, people that are, you know, in politics, and people that work at the Capitol and stuff. It was very interesting. So we're just kind of like mingling around, and there was a point in time where like they had like little tapas, you know, like the little finger foods. I was getting a little snacky, and so I wanted to like, you know, see what they had. So I go over to where, you know, the little food station is, and guess who's over there? Oh, hateration, holleration over there, right? Okay, well, this is my moment. And she's literally in front of, you know, something that I'm interested in getting. So I take this opportunity to go and talk to oh girl and see what's up. So I go over there and I grab a little plate, and I'm starting to put whatever on my plate. And I remember her saying something about like her job at the table. So I very briefly mentioned it, and I was like, I heard about your job and your place of work, and that's super interesting. How did you get into it? Okay, listen, I want to know, I want to hear your story, okay? Like, break the ice. Like, because I really did. Like, she had a really interesting job. I can't even, bitch. When I tell you this bitch looks at me, hold up. I applied. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. But when they're unnecessarily mean to you and they're unnecessarily rude and catty like that, sweetheart, your insecurity is showing. Okay, might want to cover that up. Okay, let's get it together. I will only do my thing if you are going to treat me with respect and like a human being. The minute that I feel that, okay, back off. It's great. Okay, well, you have a great night. And I take off and I take my happy ass over to Alyssa and go talk to my friend and go network with some other professionals because I need not be around this negative energy. Okay, we have a good old time. And then now my friend was like super professional and everything, Alyssa, but girl, she all the time. Okay, so when we left and we like say our goodbyes, and oh, hateration girl is like you know, still giving her little attitude. She goes on about her way. I literally did not give her any time of day. Like, don't pay attention to it. It's like a petulant child. The next thing I know, Alyssa's like, hey, you want to follow me to my car? You want to like go chill for a second? I was like, yeah, for sure. So I go in her car, girl. Okay, and I was like, whoa, okay, like we were just being professional. What's going on? And then we start talking about an event that we're gonna be at together because I'm working with my friend on another show coming up and she's gonna be there too. And she was like, okay, girl, so I'll see you in like a week or two or whatever, you know, whenever it was. It's at this bar. We're there before the bar actually opens. We're setting up, you know, doing our usual. And I see Alyssa coming from the parking lot because everything was made of glass. And I see her on the sidewalk and I go meet her at the door. And I saw somebody behind her, but I didn't really pay attention. I was just like, oh my God, my girl is here. It was like before this place opened, so it was locked from the outside, you know what I'm saying? So I go pop the door open for her and I'm like, oh my God, hey girl. So she walks in and I keep the door open for the other person that's with her. And at this point I look up and it's Miss Hateration. Now I'm like, how you gone fucking mad dog me when I am holding the door open for your ass? How? Please explain to me the science. How can you... Okay, all right. Okay, now this is the part where you have to be in charge of your own mind and your own emotions. Oh my God, I really had to fight. I had to fight myself in these situations because I had such a terrible temper. And my mom used to always tell me, you know, like, you keep acting like impulsively like that, you're gonna end up in jail. You have a lot to lose, and like, you know, you're still very young. And the reason why she was telling me that is because, you know, my mom went to jail for fighting, and my mom was like, don't make the same mistakes that I did, okay? Because you know what my mom used to tell me, you know how many of the girls that I fought, you know how many of them ended up changing, you know how many of them stopped running their mouth, you know how many of them? And I was like, no. She said, none. Not one. It will not change them, okay? Like, if you have the opportunity to walk away, walk away. Now, if they do something to you, then you got to handle up and you got to handle business. It is what it is. The way that this girl was looking at me when I was sitting there being nice and holding the door open for her, I should have just let it slam shut. I should have just let it, but I didn't. I was literally looking at the back of her head as she was walking in, like, talking to my girl Alyssa. Some of my other homegirls are there. There's so many other things going on. I pay her no mind. About to be the beginning of the show. People are showing up. The bar's starting to get super crowded. And my friend who was heading up like her show there, she was like, you know, me and her are home skillet biscuits, right? And we would always have like a little cocktail before the shows, you know, just like for the nerves. And so she was like, Nikki, can you go and get our drinks real fast before it gets too busy? And I was like, yeah, girl, I got you. So I go to the bar by myself. We had shows here before. And the bartender that was working this night, he was so nice and he knew me. So like legitimately I was there for probably 5 seconds and he was like, Nikki, girl, what's up? And I was like, oh my God, how are you? Whatever. You're gonna get so-and-so's drink. Like, he already knew her drink and my drink. And I was like, yeah, you already know. And he was like, all right. He was like, extra strong. I was like, you know what's up? So we're playing. This is just like a universal. The amount of girls that I have seen do this is crazy. But, and I've talked about this before, it's the whole, I'ma talk about you to my friends in front of you, but not to you, but loud enough for you to hear me. I've just never been punched in the face before, and I'm gonna try it. What that tells me, when girls do that, I'm just like, I'm pretty positive you've never been in a fight, and it shows. At this time, y'all, I was already doing YouTube, not, you know, to this extent. I was still like a baby YouTuber, okay? And this was the point in my life that I got a lot of shit and a lot of flack, and I got people making fun of me all the time. And so this girl right here thought that she was being so clever and so funny, hee hee ha ha, with some original shit that I've already heard. She thinks she's a YouTuber. Like, can you imagine? Oh my God, the biggest person at the time, girl, why does she sit up there acting like she's Carly Bible? I know you not. Okay, because I could never be as beautiful as Carly Bible, first of all. Then her stupid little funky friends, I think it was like 2 other girls. They're just like, how embarrassing. Like, that is so fucking. He comes back, he brings me my drinks, a little clutch with me, and I start pulling out my card. He goes, sweetheart, no, this is on me. He was like, you guys have a good time, come visit me later. And I was like, of course. And you know, I ain't even gonna lie. My pride, girl, I was like, yeah, like I know you heard that. I know you heard that, okay? Because, like, I got friends. You're unfriendly ass. This is why you live the miserable existence that you live, because you're mean for no reason. So take your mean ass and wait. She did, in fact, hear, because the next thing out of her mouth, girl, she looks over at the bartender and she was like, you know she's not famous, right? Is she special? Like, we've been sitting here. Stopped in his tracks and he was like, I'm sorry. As soon as he was like, I'm sorry, she kind of like fixed her tone and she tried to like be sweet about it, and she was like, I was just saying that like we've been sitting here, we haven't been able to get our drinks, and like it just seems like you're able to serve certain people faster. This person is one of the headliners of this show and I already know her drinks. Artists at this event take precedence, my love. That's just how it works. But don't worry, I'm really good at my job and I will get your drink done, okay? Just give me one moment. I mean, he was so fast to like, because, you know, he was pretty used to dealing with people's shit at the bar. So he was like, he shut her ass down real fast. I grab the drinks and take off as she's having this conversation with him, because like, that's embarrassing. A few of my friends ended up showing up. David ended up showing up and we had a really good night. And there were no other, you know, incidents or nothing for the rest of the night. Okay, fast forward. I don't know, like a few months, girl. It had been quite a while since I had seen this person, this hateration, holleration girl. And, you know, I kind of forgot about her and I was like, thank God, like we're not crossing paths, because that's super annoying to be around somebody, mostly that is a complete stranger to you. Like, you don't know them. Yes, have I met her? Yes, but like, do I know her? No. And I just, especially not well enough to have a problem with me. Like, what the hell? So I was really, really happy to not see her until one day came around, girl. And we had this event. It was at like this art gallery spot, and it was, you know, a really cool, there was like a lot of different artists there. They had like some really cool vendors out there in the streets. It was like over there, like off of Santa Fe area in Denver, for those of you guys that know the area. And we end up at this art gallery and I meet my friends there. Very open concept, super open. Like, it's one big rectangle room, hardwood floors, and just product like clothing and stuff on the walls. And so there was a lot of space to mingle in the middle. So I meet up with some of my friends and we're just chilling and catching up and taking pictures. I was dressed all and like everything was all good. And I'm in this conversation with one of my guy friends, and he was like a DJ, right? And he was there, you know, doing his thing, and he was working this event. So I'm sitting there with my other friends talking to him, and all of a sudden he looks up, hey, what's up, y'all? And he like says hi to this group of people that's coming into the store. So we all look over. There's like 6, 7 people walking in the door, and I recognize a few of them, and they're like bunching in, right? They bunched in and they came in, so I couldn't see everybody. Girl, they kind of like spread apart, and why? Hateration, holleration is in the building. And I was like, babe. And I had one of my really good homegirls there, and I told her about hateration, holleration already. And so y'all, immediately I'm like giving her the eyes, you know, like the eyes that you give your friend, like, bitch, you know, okay? And so she's like looking at me, and my friend definitely catches it, and she's looking at me, and then she like follows my eyes, and she's like, and I was like, we'll talk later. Within a few minutes, hateration, holleration sees me, and we lock eyes. And at this point in time, like, you know, I can only handle the disrespect so many times. Like, if I feel like I have to be around you all the time, I'm gonna nip it. And at this point, like, if you try anything, it's gonna be a problem, because now, like, I'm not gonna continue to go through this with your hating ass. I'm just not gonna do that. We lock eyes, and I do not look away. And I'm like, the rest is up to you, hunty. The way this evening goes, it's up to you, sweetheart. A few other of my friends showed up, and there were these sisters, y'all, and they were badass at makeup, okay? And I had worked with them on this photo shoot for another one of my friends' brands, and we had like this catalog shoot real quick, like, and it had been like, you know, and I hadn't seen them for months and months and months. Like, I hadn't seen them since that project, and they were so much fucking fun. And they were the ones who taught me how to do my eyebrows and shit. And they were sisters, y'all, and they were the most beautiful beings I had ever seen in my life. And so they walk in and I'm like, oh my God. And we always used to have a good time, y'all. And so like, they're like the life of the party. And I was so fucking excited to see them. So it kind of like took my mind off of hateration, holleration for a minute. And I start, you know, just having a good time with my friends, minding my business. They were serving this champagne, bitch, but it was like warm. It was warm champagne. And like, so we're sipping on this shit. You know, I thought I was the only one that noticed it. And I was like trying not to be like, you know, picky. But one of my friends comes up to me and she has her champagne glass and she was like, bitch, this is the nastiest champagne that I've ever tasted. Like, why is it so warm? It's like pee. And like, we're like laughing and laughing, right? Right. That fast. It was no more kiki, no more ha. Like, her face just like completely fell. Okay, like, it literally scared me, bitch. And I was like, are you okay? Like, why are you no longer making noise? Like, what's going on? It was like looking in the corner of the room and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? And she was like, I don't know how many times I have to fucking tell her. And I was like, what's going on? She does her head like this and there's like 3 girls over there and she was like, you know, the one with the stripes on her shirt, girl, it's hateration, holleration. And I'm like, yeah. I had been telling her to stop fucking dating my friends, and like now she has her eyes on Sergio, and Sergio's the one who's DJing. Okay, real nice guy. My girl, who has known this girl from other projects, she was like, you know, I got a lot of guy friends. They're artists, they're skateboarders, they're rappers, whatever. She has slept with 4 of them already, okay? And it's making shit very messy. And I keep telling her there's always drama involved. Now she has her eyes on Sergio. I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, how do you know? Like, it from where we were standing, it just looked like they were having a conversation. Sergio was doing his own thing. Like, it wasn't like they were like, you know, but she just happened to be over there. So I was like, well, how do you know that like she's trying to get with him? She's like, Nikki, because it's a pattern and because I've seen her do it already 4 times. 4 times. So I know what she's trying to do. And like, I don't understand. And like, it just makes shit complicated and like y'all, one of the 4 guys wasn't even her friend. It was her cousin. He talked to her for a little bit. When he didn't want to talk to her no more, she made a big old hoopla about it, trying to show up at his apartment, like just doing the most. So my friend had a bad taste in her mouth and did not want the same outcome for Sergio, because Sergio was a really nice guy. She's giving me all this tea and we're watching this happen from afar. And sure enough, I start seeing the telltale signs. Yeah. And she's not moving. Hateration, holleration is not moving. She's just over there floating with her 2 little friends by the DJ booth, right? And we're all standing like in a circle at this point, and I feel my friend, she just elbows the shit out of me, and I'm like, what? Hateration, holleration is behind the DJ booth. Everybody else was with us, okay? Even her friends were over here. The only person that was over there was Hateration, holleration, and she's behind the DJ booth and he's like doing his thing. And when I tell you, it was like the most awkward situation to watch, because Sergio, like, I don't know why boys are so oblivious when it comes to shit like this, but he was like this, okay? Like, not being rude, just like doing his own thing. Like, he's just like messing with his laptop and like, you know, has his headphones on. Why is she over there just all awkward? No, bitch. And we had been, you know, like drinking this warm champagne and whatever else is floating around. So she's definitely like, okay. And Sergio's just like, there's just, okay. So it was really pissing my friend off that was showing me this. And I ain't even gonna lie, we had a good chuckle. Fast forward, okay. Miss Hateration, holleration, I don't know if she just noticed that like Sergio was busy and doing his own thing, but she ends up floating with her other friends over to this side of the room, and she's like completely opposite of where I am in the circle thing that we got going on. We're all talking, and at this point a few people are like, it's getting later, so a few people are like bowing out and they're like, hey, you know, it's good seeing y'all, we gonna go, we gonna dip, da da da. And so, you know, 2 people here, 3 people there, we get down to like, I don't know, less than 10 people. And so I'm very close in proximity to Hateration, holleration, and we're all just having like a group discussion about what, I don't know, I don't remember. What I do remember, one of my homeboys who was a photographer and a videographer, was like standing like 2 people away from me, okay? And we're all having this discussion. My friend is talking about upcoming events, and all of a sudden he was like, Nikki, yo, while I have you here, before I forget, she needs you for another photo shoot, and see if you're available for this photo shoot, because she's trying to get this up on the website, you know, on this time and this date, whatever. And like he just like starts spewing this all to me, and I was like, yeah, for sure, like, you know, like let me know what dates y'all are looking at, you know, I could probably swing it. I loved working with my friends. Out of nowhere, hateration, holleration is gonna sit up there and she's gonna say, wow, like no offense or anything, but like, are you sure you want Nikki? Because I saw the last catalog that she was in for so-and-so, and like the muffin top was real. No offense. I just don't think they put you in the right size. Y'all, everybody collectively got quiet. Literally, I was like, did this bitch for real just ask my friend if he's sure that he wants to work with me on a photo shoot because I had a muffin top in my last catalog photos? My other friend that was there with me, she was a big mouth, okay? Like I loved her to death because she was the one that would like tell a bitch off. First thing out of her mouth was like, what? And I could tell that my friend was about to get into it with this girl. I was like, no, it's okay. It's all right. I've dealt with her kind before. It's okay. She was looking at me and she was like my friend was literally looking at me like, you heard that, right? You heard that, right? Like, it's okay. It's okay. My guy friend did not know what to say, and he was like, yeah, I want to work with her. So like, Nikki, yeah, like just before you leave, like let me know so I can show you the dates. He just completely was just like, what the fuck? And then just kept talking to me about it, and everybody was just sitting there, and I was like, okay. This is such an anomaly to me. It is such, like, somebody needs to study the brain of haters. I want to know the science behind it, because I understand that maybe in your own mind, if you don't know this person, like maybe they have attributes or something that you wish that you had, or whatever the case may be. But for you to go out of your way and feel this type of animosity about somebody who's never A, done anything to you, and B, doesn't really know you, it's just wild to me. Because like, I've never looked at a beautiful girl and had that type of malice in my heart towards them. Now, that's not to say that I've never felt insecure around a girl. Of course, you know, like we all go through those feelings, but to take it there and to treat her that way, or to try to embarrass her in public, or say these things and like just start jabbing and jabbing, that's a special kind of species that I don't understand. I remembered what my mom said. You can get into a fight with these girls, but I'm telling you right now, if it's not necessary, then it's not worth it, because they will not change. Some cases, hateration is ancestral. A lot of times these girls learn it from their moms and learn it from their grandmas, and like they just come from a long line of hate and ass. Like, what are you gonna do? I am sitting there and I wait, very patient. We were amongst the last to leave. We end up in the back because, you know, I was helping my girl take stuff to her car towards the end of all this, and we were going to go to the diner together. Like, half of us are out there and half of us are still inside. We're getting ready to leave, and before I leave anywhere, girl, I just make it a habit, like, go pee. You need to go pee, because, like, I don't know, just as a kid, they were always like, before we go, you better go to the bathroom. I don't know what it is. So before I leave anywhere, I always get up and go to the bathroom. I go down this hallway, and there's one bathroom in here because it's like a art gallery style place. Okay, I have my purse and I have this plastic bag that's full of like merch that my friends had given me, and like some of it is pretty expensive. Like there was like a Letterman jacket in there and stuff like that, and it was like a pretty big bag, right? There's somebody in the bathroom, and so right next to the bathroom was the DJ booth. So I'm standing on the side of the bathroom, and I see a group of girls that are standing on the other side of the DJ booth right there, and among them is Hateration, Hateration and her little funky friends. I want y'all to be honest with me and tell me that if this opportunity had come up, with all things considered, if you would have done the same thing. Because like, I really feel like my Glamazons will understand. Out of nowhere, I hear Sergio's voice, and he's right next to me, okay? Nikki, what's up? Like, I haven't been able to talk to you. Like, where y'all headed after this? Y'all about to go chill? Y'all, I look at him, I look at the group, and Miss Hateration, Holleration, boop, her head pops up so fast. And she is looking at this situation like, yeah, you already know what's up. Like, we're gonna be heading over to like so-and-so diner. At the time it was Denver Diner. We're gonna head over to Denver Diner after this. And he was like, what's up? Like, where's my invite? And I was like, I'm inviting you. Everything that's coming out of my mouth in response to this boy, feel this girl seething, okay? And I'm just like, completely ignoring her. And I'm like, yeah, you know, he's telling me that he's gonna come to the diner with us. And so he literally in that moment starts packing up all his things, and he was like, hell yeah, like it's been a while since we've all hung out, like I want to go, da da da, right? So as we're talking, the guy that was in the bathroom, he comes out. And so the bathroom's free. I don't want to take everything in the bathroom, like, you know, the man was just in there like gross. And I look at Sergio, and in my sweetest voice, Sergio, hey, can you do me a favor? Why he go look at me and be like, anything? Okay. Y'all, can you hold my stuff for me while I go to the bathroom? I really don't want to take it in there because like gross. And this DJ booth was like up against the wall, okay? Like there was a wall right here and I'm right here and the booth is right here. So he has to come all the way around to me to get my things. He didn't like, I don't know why. He could have just taken them over the table. Nah, he comes all the way around and he passes the group of hateration, holleration girlies, okay? And they're all, I can tell they're all, okay, which made it even sweeter. And he has his hands on. He's like, yeah, for sure, I got you, let me see. And so he grabs my purse and he grabs my big old plastic bag and he was like, dang, you got hooked up. Like, okay, I see you doing big things. And I was like, whatever, y'all. This was like itching her ass, so I just knew it. He like holds on to my shit and I go in the bathroom, bitch. When I tell you, I close the bathroom door and I'm like everything happened just so. This was like my little jab to get her back for trying to embarrass me in front of all my friends, talking about I had a muffin top in my pictures. I take my time in a bathroom. I open the door, there's Sergio holding my things. Like, you're so sweet. And he was like, stop. And you know, he was a very nice person. So he was like, all right, so I'm gonna pack all this up. He was like, y'all wait for me. Cause like, you know, I be getting like mixed around in these city streets, you know, all these one ways. And I was like, all right, you know, I'll tell so-and-so, cause I was riding with somebody at this time. And I was like, I'll tell her, you know, that you're gonna come. And so he starts packing up all his stuff. Y'all, as I start walking down this hallway towards the back door, what are you guys talking about? Where are you gonna go? And he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to a Denver Diner. And she was like, that place is nasty. And go out there, I tell my friend, hey, Sergio wants to come with us to the Denver Diner. And she was like, all right, cool. And I told her, I was like, can we wait? Cause like he'd be getting lost over here. And she was like, yeah, for sure. So we wait, and everybody's cars are parked back here. It was like a little alleyway. And we wait. Sergio comes out, and then Hateration, Holleration with her friends come out. And lo and behold, they're coming. And before I know it, y'all, we all hop into our different cars and we head over to the Denver Diner. Big old booth. She did not say one word. I heard not even the slightest peep. You hear me? Waitress comes over to the table and she was like, are we all paying together? Sergio's sitting like 2 people away. And he goes, oh, I got them 4 right there. My friend, my stylist friend, my homegirl that came with me, like one of his friends. Hateration, Holleration, and her friends that he did not include. He was just like, those 4 right there. And he paid for our meal. There she goes, putting down her own card because she wants to be mala. Like, straight up. Because, you know, when you're nice to people, people are nice to you back. You know what I'm saying? I left there knowing that, in a sense, if you really want to play this game, I won. I always got my look back in some way or another. And a lot of times when it was girls that were trying to convince me that I wasn't shit, that I ain't shit, that I, like, you know, whatever the case may be, like trying to tear me down, I would always take the route of, okay, you may not think I'm all that, but he does. Now, in this juncture of my life, when I see, because, you know, like I said, this is universal. This does not change. Women that are this way typically don't grow out of it. Like I said, this type of shit, this type of behavior is oftentimes passed down. Like, I have had friends hated on every girl that was like pretty, and, you know, and then I would go to their house and their mom was the same way. Just like talking about people and just being real mala. In like the last 5 years, I have had 3 different people play in my face like that and try to play me for a fool and try to make me doubt myself, and these little jabs here and there and just talking shit. And I can feel the hatred and the jealousy and the envy and this unprecedented hatred and like this negative energy when I've been in their presence. And number one, I make sure once I feel that from somebody, I make sure that I'm never around them ever again. There was a point in time, I won't say recently, but it was like within the last, I don't know, 2-3 years, there was a girl in particular that was doing that. They jab at you, but they're just joking. And I had this girl doing that. And I told her, I was like, you know what? I don't think you like me very much, and I would have respected you more had you just said that. This whole jabbing thing that you're doing with me, I don't appreciate it. I get it. I understand it. You don't like me, and at this point, I don't like you either. We do not need to work together in the future. I cut all ties to this person. And of course, you know, when being called to the carpet, especially when they're by themselves and they don't have like these little, you know, hating ass friends around them as well to like give them a little boost of confidence, when they're by themselves every single time I take that route, they play this, oh my god, girl, like, sorry if like you felt that way, but I would never, like, you're my homegirl, like, you're, you know, like, I just want, no, don't play me. I've been around enough. Okay, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I know what I'm feeling from you, and it's not good. Because like the things that you say to me and the way that you're treating me, I would never say to you nor treat you that way. So if it's not gonna be, I need some reciprocity up in this bitch, okay? And if there's not gonna be any, well then there need not be any reason why we're around each other. And sometimes you might have an individual like this, say at work or at school, places where you cannot avoid them. And my personal advice, my love, is to call it for what it is. And if nothing comes of it, at least they know that you see them. And that is so powerful, because the more that you try to play these petty games, that was the only thing about the petty games that I was playing when I was younger. I wasn't coming right up the street and telling them that I saw them. I was just like, you know, picking back at them without speaking about it. I never saw that girl again. Who knows if she probably would have continued the game. Girls will continue the game until the day is long. Gotta get to a point. You have to. Their biggest goal is to knock you off course because you are a threat. And that also means by taking up the space in your mind and being concerned about their opinions and fighting and going back and forth and doing like all of the logistics that comes along with some of the petty plans that are being placed. It is just easier and more powerful to call a spade a spade. See how they start trembling. See how they start stuttering. See how they start backpedaling. And at the end of the day, they will respect you more for it. They'll think about it a little longer before they let some shit like that come out of their mouth, because at least they know. Be quick about it for each time. And if they do it again, call them on it again. I cannot tell you how many times I have had to do that with women that I have had no choice but to be around. You don't have to like me, but you will respect me. And if you want to continue to act like this and you think that you're going to underhandedly, you're going to make these jabs at me and try to embarrass me and like just doing the most, you obviously don't like me. That'll be the most you hear from me, because I will call you to the carpet every single time and you're going to hear from me. And I will. And guess what? All of that mess I did not create. Whoever hurt you, girl, it wasn't me. I would appreciate it if you had an issue with me, that you take it up with me and that we handle it like women. But either way, you're gonna hear from me. That's how I deal with it now. That's how I dealt with it then. That's my story. That's my lesson. That's my experience. Don't be letting these little hateration, holleration girls knock you off track, okay? That's what they want. Keep doing you. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're talented. You're funny. You are just all of the things. I love y'all so much, but God loves you more. Don't forget to subscribe, like, do all of the things, and I will see your fine self in my next video. Peace out.